Good evening and welcome into the Mafia Cast, brought to the fans by the fans, and this is your one-stop shop for all things Bills every single week. Now here are your hosts, Mike Yanni, Ronnie Eastham, and Casey Sita.
Hi, Bill.
What is going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of the Mafia Cast. I hate that muting. Just leave it alone. Let me mute and unmute myself. It drives me crazy. Anywho, we'll figure that out one of these days, won't we, Casey?
I hope not.
Yeah, probably not.
The listeners probably hate it, but I think it's entertaining, so.
It's a staple of the show at this point, I tell you.
Pretty much. I mean, us getting just about everything wrong.
Yeah.
Except our depth chart predictions. We did pretty well on those.
Yeah, I think we did okay. Not too terrible. We definitely want to jump into that. Before we do that, you had an eventful morning.
Yeah, I did. I didn't think you were going to bring that up.
So you're out there playing Superman, so we got to talk about that.
So I'm a DoorDash driver here in the city that I live in, and I was picking up an order from a gas station, and there's a very busy highway behind me. If you're from New York, routes 34 and 5 and 20, right where they meet, right in Auburn. It's a very busy intersection. Like, it's two state highways. It's really busy, and I'm getting in my car, and I'm on the phone with our sponsor, actually, John from Game On Video Games and Sports, and all of a sudden I hear bang, and then a louder bang, and I'm like, John, what the hell is going on? And I turn around, there's a car that had, I don't know how many times it had rolled over, but it ended up on its side. The top was completely crushed in, and I ran over, and like 4 other guys got out of traffic and ran over. Some lady from one of the subways ran over, and she started calling 911. And then we saw there was one guy that had gotten out of the car, and he was saying that there was somebody else in there, and he wasn't bleeding or anything, but you could tell he was hurt. He was shaken up, and so there was an older lady in there. And we saw that she was. So if the car was on its side, she was basically sitting on the passenger side door. The only way we could get her out is the windshield was partially ripped out, so we actually pulled the windshield out of the car and to get her out of the car. Luckily, she was, okay-ish. Nobody's ever going to be walk away from that completely squeaky clean.
Yeah.
When you're in a rollover accident, but it definitely could have been a lot worse than it was. I'm happy for that. When I told my wife about it, it made today kind of restored my faith in humanity a little bit, to where it was really nice to see all those other guys stop, just put their car in park, period. There was no questions asked. We all got out, ran over to them, made sure people had help. There was people calling 911. Luckily, the police station, I could basically hit it with a rock. Not the emergency services was there quick, but it was really nice to see a lot of people jump when someone actually needed help. There was people there to give them the help. But I wouldn't call myself Superman. I just did what I would hope anybody would do if you were in a car accident, or, Mike, anybody. Mike says I should be an EMT. I wouldn't go that far. I can barely be around spiders. I don't know what I could do if someone's leg was backwards.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. You're right. It seems like sometimes in this day and age, we kind of question humanity anymore. But
it's hard not to. Everybody's always at each other's throats all the time. I know, us and Dolphins fans go at it, but that's part of football, part of being a fan. But at the end of the day, I didn't care that lady could have been, the biggest Dolphins fan in the world. I would have done the same thing all over again, no questions asked. So we all have our differences at the end of the day, but when someone really needs help, it's nice to see that we are still willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about this Dolphins fan thing. I might have to.
I might have stepped a line
I'm
there.
kidding.
Yeah, it might if I know the Dolphins fan and know who it is. There's 4 other guys. You got this.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my best to try to get through this show. I don't know if I'm losing my voice or what's going on. Maybe I'm finally growing up. Who knows?
Is that both of us having to like clear our throats every 10 seconds? What a perfect time to do a podcast.
Yeah, I know. We're on top of it, right? Let's get into this. So it's a big week. Tuesday was cut down day for the Bills. We had our 53-man roster projections, and we did okay. Before we get into that, yeah, John Roberts says that Russell Douglas, happy birthday to him. As far as the 53 goes, we'll just start right off. What was your biggest surprise?
Hill, just like everybody else. I mean, they brought him in. It was kind of like early-ish that they signed him in free agency, and he did and he was kind of hurt.
Like first or second one signed,
right? And he was hurt a lot of the, if not most of, or all the preseason, basically. Not all, but he was hurt for some of it, and it was like I didn't think he did anything special, but I think the fact, like I've seen one person in particular, I'm not going to name who it is, but on Twitter, like they went on a rant saying we kept 23 offensive players and 27 defensive players. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know exactly, yeah.
And if you guys watched last episode, like that's the exact number that I had. I expected to go heavier on the defense because we know who the players are going to be on offense. We know who the 5 starting offensive linemen are. We know who the skill position people are going to be, maybe outside of the last one in the running back and wide receiver room. But on defense, okay, we know who the starting offensive line, defensive linemen are, and who the starting defensive tackles are. We didn't 100% know who the backups were going to be. We knew the cornerback situation, but linebacker, once Milano got hurt, we all knew that was up in the air. Nobody knew which direction we were going to go. And same with safety. We had Rapp and DeMar Hamlin and Cole Bishop, but Mike Edwards wasn't a lock. He didn't play at all in the preseason, but just kind of following the money again, and he's a vet. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's been there, done that. So that earns him a lot of cred. Mm-hmm. But then Cam Lewis, you didn't really think he was going to go anywhere because of his Swiss Army knife ability to play slot and nickel and in an absolute pinch outside. The biggest surprise cut though for me would be Hardy. Again, just like everybody else, I thought he played well.
Yeah,
genuinely, I did. I didn't have high hopes for him because yes, they drafted him to be a returner first. But to me, he proved that with over time, I think he could be a better Cam Lewis. I think he could probably eventually play slot better than Cam, and I would like to have Cam focus on safety more because I do think that was where he would thrive better is in safety, at the safety position. And so if we could have Hardy waiting in the wings behind Taron Johnson, we've got Cam Lewis there who could be the perfect number 3 or 4 safety for us. But we traded for what was it? Brandon something. I don't even remember his last name. The returner from the Jets. Rodgington. Yeah. So we'll see what it goes. We got him back to the practice squad. But I mean, what was the biggest surprise for you? Was it Hill or was there something else?
I think initially, my first thought was with Daquan Hardy, but there was a whole. Twitter blew up, right, with all the people coming out and complaining about it and being upset with that decision. Look, Hardy was a late draft, day 3 pick, not even an early day 3. I don't believe. I think he was 6th or 7th round. And Bean even said we drafted him for his return ability. He had one 31-yard punt return in the preseason. Other than that, I think he had a fumble, but he didn't do anything else. There was no moment like, oh, wow, this guy. Okay, Codrington on the other hand, he had I believe it was a 60-something yard return in the preseason. In college, he averaged, I believe, almost 20 yards per punt return. Like his numbers were through the roof. And I went back and I looked at Hardy. He's only got 3 kick returns in his entire career at college. He was primarily just a punt returner, and that's all he did. I don't remember what he averaged, but it was significantly less than Codrington. So if you
I believe
kind of look at it in
Codrington
that,
is the same, to where he is more so a punt return than a kick return.
but in college he did do both, a lot. So I think that's what it came down to. The Bills are looking for a return guy that can be a game changer, kind of like what we used to have with I think it was Andre Roberts.
Andre Roberts. Yep.
Yeah, he was an All-Pro kick returner, and in his prime, he was one of the best, if not the best, return guy, and he made some big plays for the Bills when he was here. I think they're looking for that, especially with the new kickoff rules. I'm not going to call it dynamic because that's just dumb.
So my rebuttal to, sorry to interrupt, but my rebuttal would be, he's a draft pick, so, but also Travis Clayton was a draft pick. Now they put Clayton on IR. I mean, if Hardy was injured, then why not just stash him on IR like we did with Justin Shorter and like we are with I know Travis Clayton's the international player, but clearly they cared enough about him to keep him around and stash him on the IR till next year. But why not just do that with Hardy if that's the case, and then let him get back to practice eventually, and just never designate him to season-ending IR. Let him practice and get him out there trying to do truly learning kick returns, then regroup next year.
Well, I think I'd have to look at it again. I think the way the IR rules are established, you can only put so many people on IR immediately after the preseason without their whole season being lost. I want to say you can only put 2 guys on there as far as being returned from IR kind of guys, which they did with Milano, and I don't remember who the other one was.
Darrington Evans, which is
that's right.
Odd to me.
I agree.
Because that means you can activate him. You can activate him after 4 weeks, but why? What's the plan for him? Because is he going to take over like RB3? Are they going to run with 5 running backs, including Reggie Gilliam in that group? Like when he becomes healthy.
Kind of makes you wonder what the plan is for this offense this year. Like, are they going to run so much that they think they need another running back? And Darrington Evans, he looked good in preseason. It's probably the best I've ever actually seen him.
For sure.
But yeah, you're right. He's number 3 at best. They did re-sign Frank Gore Jr. to the practice squad, so you've got him as an option if need be. That one was, like I said, was kind of odd. I just think at the end of the day, they were looking specifically for a return guy. I don't think they had any interest really in a corner at all. I think they feel like they've got some good, solid corners in this team, young corners that they're not going to have to worry about for a while. Kyrie Elam's on his rookie deal. Jamarcus Ingram, I believe, is on a rookie deal. Bristol Douglas.
But if you
not on a rookie, obviously, but
that was the bonus of him, was that I think that's why everybody got so excited, is because I think we all had such low expectations of him being an actual corner that when he started to play well, we were like, oh, maybe we found a diamond in the rough here. And then so everybody started getting their hopes up, like, oh my God, look. But, Bean clearly had other plans.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, where's he going to be on the depth chart? Like he wouldn't see the field. There's why put him on the 53 when there's no chance of him seeing the field. Kind of want to back up here a little bit to
the same reason we're going to put the guy we traded for from the Jets on the 53, because he's going to be the straight up kick return. It's
Right.
I mean that's just about every
Well,
like
reason.
not every kick returner, but most kick returners. They're there to be a kick returner. They're just in a position to be in a position.
And I wonder if Codrington was part of the coverage team as well. I don't know. I don't even know if Hardy did that, to be honest. Um, so that maybe that went into it as well. I mean, who knows? But we'll see what happens with that. I honestly, it's kind of like you were saying with MVS and the fourth, fifth, sixth receiver. Like, really, who cares? They're not really going to be that much of a factor. So, but we know Bills fans fall in love with preseason guys. They do it every year. There's always somebody. John Robert here asked, who would you replace Tuhill with? I don't know if it's necessarily replacing him specifically with a defensive lineman as much as just another player. But if you're going to take Tuhill off, who are you putting on the 53?
It probably would be Hardy. Just so like we have those two kick returners on the roster, because clearly like the Bills and most teams are going to go with two kick returners. But I know we have Ty Johnson, Khalil Shakir, but I don't want to. I know we did that, like the NFL did this for safety. I still don't want Khalil Shakir out there because it's going to be too important for the offense. I don't.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
So it would probably either be Hardy or Kingsley Jonathan. If I was to go to the same position, I'd say Kingsley Jonathan.
Yeah, I could see Jonathan for sure. It kind of goes back to what I was just saying as far as who's going to see the field, who's going to actually contribute right now, and that's going to be Tuhill because they do rotate that defensive front so much. They don't really rotate the back end of the defense the way they do the defensive front, which is why we have so many more defensive players because there is such a heavy rotation, and even at the linebacker position. So
that and this new kickoff rule, maybe that's another reason why we kept so many defensive players. 6 linebackers, however many defensive ends. I think it was 10. Defensive linemen. I think it was 10, with only 4 defensive tackles. So clearly they want guys that are used to playing in space and covering in short areas.
Yeah. Really quick, if you're over on YouTube listening, please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate that. If you're listening anywhere else, jump over to YouTube, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Is there anything else that stood out to you? What are your expectations, I guess, as far as the secondary goes? Was there any surprises there outside of Hardy?
No, it went exactly how I kind of expected it to. I'm curious. I'm very curious to see who's going to start opposite of Brad, whether it's going to be DeVar Hamlin or Mike Edwards.
I think it's going to end up being Edwards.
I do too, and I think it's going to be Edwards because I don't think DeMar is going to end up being healthy yet. And I think that'll be the only reason.
Let me really quick. I want to address John Roberts' comment here. Yes, that is correct. Sean said Kingsley Jonathan is international. I had forgotten about that. I did see that. I think it was yesterday or today. I didn't know that until now, but apparently he is considered an international guy. So I guess that means Travis Clayton is out.
No, because he's on IR.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So he doesn't count.
Yeah. So, and that brings me kind of to the one thing that was a little bit of a surprise to me, and one thing that I got wrong as far as my projection was the guard position. I thought Leo Collins would make the team because of the lack of interior offensive linemen. But I guess they're comfortable with Cedric Van Pen Granger taking that role, probably be the primary guy between the guards and the center. And then your tackles, of course, I think we're pretty much set it there. I've seen a lot of this on social media talking about the Bills' future, like the offensive line pipeline, if you will, kind of a reference to college football. But do you think that the future is bright at the offensive line position? Like, where are you at with Alec Anderson and SCPG and who am I missing? Who's the other guy?
Vandemark. And everybody who watches the show knows how much I love Van Pen Granger. I'm very excited for him. I'm so happy he made the team. And then Alec Anderson, I mean, they clearly love him. You know, I think they love his versatility. I think he is their new Ryan Bates. Tylen Grable, that I'm very, very excited about too. And it really makes me wonder about the future for Spencer Brown. And Spencer Brown, I mean, this is the last year on his rookie deal, so we have to extend him or re-sign him next year. But do they just let Grable? You know, he's probably going to be active on game days. Do they just let Grable sit behind Spencer Brown? You know, get bigger and stronger, and just learn, and then bring him in to be the starter next year?
I think it's going to depend on Brown and how he plays this year. If he struggles or anything, then yeah, absolutely. I think it's a possibility. I don't. And when it comes to the offensive line, you know how I am with the O-line. To me, it is outside of the quarterback the most important position on the offense or group on the offense. I want to keep the same 5 guys together as long as they possibly can. So I would like to see them extend Brown. But again, if he does struggle, then you have to move on. You can't just keep on hoping that he figures it out and stays consistent. He had a good year last year. He had a pretty good rookie year. The year in between was not good. We'll see what year 4 gives us. If he plays well, I say we re-sign him, bring him back, and keep this 5 together for as long as possible.
Outside of Edwards, that's when we move McGovern back to guard, same Van Payne Granger to center, and all is good. I don't know why I'm such an Edwards hater. Like, I really
do something
don't.
In your Cheerios?
No, right. Like, you would think he kicked my puppy. I don't know why. There's just something about it. I just feel like his perfect role is the 6th lineman on an offense. Like, there's like, if people play basketball, pay attention to basketball, like there's a guy, Manu Ginobili. He was better than half the Spurs stars outside of Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, but he came off the bench his entire life. And it's just, or because it was just a mentality thing. It was a role, like that's just where he thrived, and he didn't play as good as a starter. And I just feel like that's just some guys, like their roles. There's coaches that aren't meant to be a head coach. They are meant to be coordinators and the best at it. You know, like Josh McDaniels, just for an example. You know, terrible every time he got to be a chance at a head coach. Every time he got to be an offensive coordinator, he thrived. So I just think he's the perfect 6 offensive lineman, and I just think Van Payne Granger's that good too. I think he is going to be a really good center in this league.
I mean, it would be nice if that comes to fruition, because we've got Osiris Torrance in there. We got this, Van Payne Granger. So we're looking at 2 extremely young guys on rookie deals. Roy asked in here the question, curious how Kingsley Jonathan is slated as an international player, considering he played on active rosters with Buffalo and Chicago. Why doesn't he count towards the practice squad? Weird. I have no idea.
I don't think like the fact that he's played on active rosters really means anything. I think it's just, hey, look, we have an international player on our roster.
Well, I thought that there was a limit to how many years a player would be considered that. Because I can't imagine he's going to be an international and not count against the roster his whole career.
Well, no, it's like you can stash them on the practice squad. I think it's for like 3 years or 4 years or something like that, to where they can't be poached and they give you that extra spot. But after that, I think there's a limit as to, all right, now you gotta like designate them as an actual practice squad player to activate them.
Yeah. So there's another question here, but we'll jump to that in just a moment. Before we do that, let's hear from John at Game On.
Hey, this is John from Game On Video Games and Sports Memorabilia. We are Rochester's premier trading card store. We have a wide selection of trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia. We also do autograph and celebrity appearances in the store. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself relative that doesn't like the Bills, or for a friend, come down and check us out at our Rochester location, 2670 Dewey Avenue, or our Hamburg location at 1 Buffalo Street. Go Bills.
So the question is, I'm going to throw this at you because you brought it up, but John, what happens if Edwards plays well and they go to a Super Bowl?
I'll buy his jersey.
You heard it here. Yeah.
I'll get a hold of John at Game On Sports and I'll get an autographed jersey.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of is like with you and Edwards is kind of like with me with MVS.
Yeah.
I just don't want him on the roster. I'll root my head off for him. If he catches a touchdown, I'll be as excited as the next person. I'm not going to go buy his jersey. Sorry, I'm not doing that. But
I might. He just changed his number to 15, and I like that number.
I know there are certain players sometimes that you that for whatever reason you don't want on the team. You don't really like them. I'm sure as a person they're both great people, but
right.
It's I don't know. Like I said, MVS is on the roster. Edwards is on the roster. They're both. Well, I wouldn't say MVS is a starter, but like I said,
if
we're going to root for him.
Let's make this deal. If we win the Super Bowl, I'll buy a David Edwards jersey and you'll buy an MVS jersey. And we will wear it with pride.
I can't do that.
Do it. That's worth it. That is more than
you and I
worth
both
it.
know MVS will not be on this roster next year.
It doesn't matter.
He won't be. Edwards could be.
It
especially
doesn't
if
matter.
He plays well.
It doesn't matter.
Really, yes. You can probably get MVS jersey at quite a discount. Like $5 off the trash heap.
Would you say that the price had dropped?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. Oh man. Mike, what jersey do I buy? I don't know. You can
Taiwan Jones.
Who?
You don't remember Taiwan Jones?
Oh, I thought you said Tyrod Jones. I was like, who the hell is Tyrod Jones?
No, Mike has to get a Mike White jersey.
Hey, there you go. Let's talk about that really quick since you brought it up. The quarterback situation. I posted it on social media yesterday after they announced that White was signed. Basically, it was just a couple words asking if this was an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky. I know the team loves him, Trubisky, and he's probably the number 2 for the foreseeable future. But do you think that that's an upgrade, Mike White, compared to Trubisky?
I don't know. I mean, outside of the few games we played against him, like when Milano broke him in half, and when we played against him when he played for the Dolphins, like outside of like that, I haven't like watched him too closely. He's had his ups and he's had his downs. I mean, I think when we blew him out of the water when he played for the Jets, I think he threw for like, I want to say like 400 yards or something. And I want to say in like his first 2 starts, he threw for like, it was some absurd number that only like two people had ever done before or something insane, so.
Yeah, I do remember that. It's funny. I don't know if you saw it or not. They asked Mike White about joining the Bills, and his response was, I told him that I'll come over on one condition, and that's that my locker is not next to Matt Milano.
But that's good.
Yeah,
Like you have to make light of it. Like when you and I talked about it earlier on the phone or sometime, and we were like, he has to acknowledge it. Yeah, it's football. You're like, you're gonna get hit. Like it was just the perfect tackle. That same tackle happens a lot, but you don't see it that clean on a quarterback just getting the ball out of his hands.
Yeah. I've seen some people say that that was the hardest you can hit somebody without getting in legal trouble or something to that effect.
Without committing murder.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have to play. But from what I've seen from Trubisky, I think personally it's an upgrade. To Roy's point here, White more willing to throw the ball than Mitch. He just really know where the ball's going to go. Yeah, I mean, like you said a while ago too, he's had some really good games. We've seen him perform on the field at times. It's been a while since we've seen Trubisky do anything.
Yeah, I mean, Trubisky's last stint here with us, you saw it. He was willing to, it was they would move the pocket, they would run play action, move the pocket, and it was
quarterback.
Read, run, and it was perfect. That's what you ask your quarterback, like your backup quarterback, to do: make one read, make two read. If it's not there, go get us 4 yards, and then we'll run it the next down. We'll try to get 4 yards, and then it's 3rd and 2, and we can do anything we really want. But even again, in this preseason, I watching it with Mike. I'm like, throw the ball, like get rid of the ball. I don't know what he's doing. Like on that touchdown, the interception he almost threw in the end zone, when in the second game to Keon Coleman, when Coleman had a fantastic pass breakup. He had Coleman, he held on to it, threw it late. Cornerback was able to break on it, and Coleman was able to reach back and bat it out of the cornerback's hands. I said it last podcast that Ben DiNucci. That's why I was more fine with him rather than Trubisky. He was willing to run. He's willing to just let the ball go. Yes, he missed that throw to Shavers. It should have been a better throw. It still could have been a caught touchdown. But he was at least willing to make up his mind and get rid of the ball.
Yeah. Like I said, hopefully Mike White doesn't have to play. Hopefully Trubisky doesn't have to play. Hopefully neither one of them see the light of day from the bench. There was a couple other things. Nice little joke here. Heard Milano invited him out for ribs. That's great. Yeah. Some other things here. John Robert. Yeah, he mentions the Bills signing Jalen Virgil to the practice squad. They released Deion Kane. They also signed, and I was trying to find the name, but something Klein, the safety. And I wanted
Lewis Seen.
Lewis, yeah. So I wanted to ask you about that because there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of hype, but there's a little bit of excitement, I guess, with this guy coming in. I guess he was about to sign with the Jets, changed his mind overnight, signed with Buffalo. Do you see this guy maybe becoming something that he wasn't previously? He's still young. He's only been in the league 2 years, so.
Right. I mean, McDermott, he could take me, you, and Mike, and I feel like turn us into, at minimum, practice squad safeties for the NFL. So, I mean, that was why we were so excited, why we drafted Cole Bishop in the second round, right? We've seen what McDermott can do with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, guys that were cast by the wayside by the NFL, turn them into all pros. Now give them Cole Bishop in the second round, who, is deemed pretty damn good already, and let him get under Bobby Babich and Adai and McDermott and watch what he can really do. Watch what a natural, very good safety could be under their regime. Now do the same thing with Lewis Seen, who was a first round and has all the upside in the world. And this is a no sweat bet. If it hits, that's amazing. If anybody's should be able to do it, it should be Buffalo because of the track record that these guys have. So I love it. I'd see no reason not to.
Yeah, I like the deal too, just because of the unknown. The traits are there, so. And like you said, they do have a track record as well. And yes, Joey, you're correct. It's Coach of the Day or Die. I'm not sure which way I'm pronouncing it, but he's the DB coach in Buffalo. He was Lewis's coach in college, so that I'm sure had a lot to do with it.
I believe it wasn't even college. I believe it was high school.
Former coach. We'll just leave it at that because I don't remember for sure. Again, it's another one of those players that people want to get super excited about, but then you're like, they're not going to play this year, most likely.
Right.
So, okay, maybe we'll see what they do in 2025.
But he has that starter experience. He's played in the NFL for 2 years. And that's at least something. That's something.
Yeah. Well, he's been in the league. He hasn't played much because he had a pretty nasty leg injury in his rookie year. So that has a lot to do with it, obviously, and trying to come back from that. I don't know the extent of that leg injury. The adjective I saw used was gruesome, so obviously it was pretty bad. But like I said, again, it's another one of those players that, okay, I'm not going to see him probably about a month or not even that into the season. I'll forget that he's there. It's funny how we talk about the practice squad. Oh, the Bills signed this guy and this guy. Frank Gore's Jr., he's on the practice squad. They've done this. Once kickoff happens on the opening weekend, we're going to completely forget about who's on the practice squad again.
Pretty much. But then there's still going to be some fans that are going to be calling, we need to bring Tyrell Shavers up. Like the second that not even somebody drops the ball, like the second that there's first game, there's no 100-yard receiver. Shavers is better than everybody. Like, shut up, dude.
Oh, I guarantee you, if MVS drops a pass in week 1, I'm going to be calling for Shavers to be called.
You were the exact fan I was thinking of when I was saying it.
But no, week 1, the opening game is a week away from today. Pretty excited about that.
And we have one on Friday, too.
Yeah. Saturday, we've got a lot of college football. There's a college football game on right now as we speak.
I was talking to Mike. There's 4 ranked teams playing tonight.
Yeah, football is back. I'm excited now if the weather can just get cold so I don't have to mow lawns anymore.
I know.
All right, we're going to bounce from tonight. We'll be back on Monday. Make sure you tune in on Monday because that is going to be our season projection. I say we go through the whole league, pick our 7 playoff teams and Super Bowl participants, and who we think is going to win.
Damn, all right. I didn't know I had homework.
Hey, well, you got 3 days to prepare for it. Piece of cake, right?
I got football Saturday. I got 2 fantasy drafts on Sunday. And I got to figure out time to hang out with my pregnant wife.
Priorities, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I was going to say, but after the podcast, I'm going to get on my video game. So.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of which, I've asked this question before on Twitter. In fact, I just asked it earlier this week. If you're a Bills fan, who is your college football team that you're rooting for? Go ahead and take it for a second, Casey.
So, we all know that I'm a Cuse guy. I love Syracuse. And this has been like the most hyped I've been for a Syracuse season in a long time. Getting Kyle McCord, the transfer quarterback out of Ohio State, bringing in Amari Hatcher. We've got Oronde Gadsden, the best tight end prospect in the nation, really, this year. He's projected to win that award at the end of the season. He's fantastic. And it kills me that we drafted Dalton Kincaid because Oronde Gadsden would have been perfect for this Bills offense. He would have been absolutely perfect. But we got LaQuint Allen, Fadil Diggs, the transfer defensive end that came in, Marlo Wax. I guarantee you he's drafted in the top 3 rounds next year. We got Deuce Chestnut, the transfer back. He started at Syracuse, transferred to LSU, and he just transferred back this year. He's a fantastic safety. Mark Barron, another great safety. This team's really looking up with Fran Brown coming up from Georgia, the #1 recruiter in the entire country, becoming the head coach. It's really Syracuse football is back, and it's been a really long time. Because just like the Bills growing up, Syracuse freaking sucked. So it's nice that the Bills and Syracuse.
When was the last time Syracuse was good? I think we got to go back to the.
How do you want to quantify
Ernie
good?
Davis days, don't we?
How do you want to quantify good? Because they've been to a bowl the last 2 years. and they
I mean,
won.
6-6 gets you to a bowl, so
That's what I'm saying. Quantifying good because they won at least 2 bowls under Dino Babers.
I gotta say at least 9 wins in a bowl.
That was when we had Dino Babers when he first came over from Bowling Green, and we had a quarterback named Eric Dungy, who was like Josh Allen before Josh Allen. I don't know if you ever saw Eric Dungy play or know who he is, but
I remember the name, but I didn't really watch.
He was like your prototypical college quarterback. He was never going to make it in the NFL as a quarterback. He actually entered the draft, was a UDFA, and just like most UDFA quarterbacks, ended up as a tight end and ended up on the Giants practice squad. But he used to run people over as a quarterback. I mean, you would think he was a linebacker or Marshawn Lynch. He just absolutely mauled people, and he got Syracuse all the way up to number 15 at one point in the country. And it was absolutely insane. And last year, Dino Babers did end up getting us back up to number 15 at one point. But then we started 5-0, and then we finished season 6-6, and we had a tight end playing quarterback.
Let me ask, when was the last time Syracuse won the Fiesta Bowl?
The Fiesta Bowl? That's way too specific of a bowl. The bowl games change like every year.
No, the Fiesta Bowl's been around for years. That's one.
Yeah,
but one.
But the Fiesta Bowl, like, remember in the BCS days, it was the Fiesta Bowl might have been the championship, or the Rose Bowl might have been the championship, or
or
the Sugar Bowl, Peach Bowl.
It was one of the top. What do they call them? The 6 bowls or whatever.
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Well, to my knowledge, they haven't, and that's why I'm asking, because they've never won the Fiesta Bowl championship, whereas Boise State's won it 3 times. I'm sure you probably saw when they beat Oklahoma.
Wait, how many national championships do you guys have?
We don't have none of those.
Oh, I'll see your Fiesta Bowls and raise you one natty.
Unfortunately, the way that the college football is set up, it's kind of rigged. This year, maybe things will be different. The little guys have a chance to get into the playoffs and make some noise finally.
Yeah, and Syracuse has not a cakewalk of a schedule, but a very favorable schedule for them to get good this year. So I'm expecting 8-4 to 9-3, and I will be ecstatic. That'll put us right in contention to fight for the ACC championship. So I'm pumped. My buddy Trevor's coming over Saturday. We're gonna go dual TVs in the living room and snack and veg out.
Who are they playing on Saturday?
Ohio. They're favored by 18 points.
Yeah, they should. I don't even know who Boise State's playing, to be honest. They play Saturday as well, and I can't remember.
I'll be on the lookout. I'll be watching if I can.
Well, we're going up to a family cabin for the weekend, so and we do this every year, and we dress top to bottom in Boise State, watch the game, go up to the cabin, so it'll be fun. Usually drunk by halftime, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, before we get out of here, I know we were going to leave 5 minutes ago, but when you were saying we get dressed up head to toe, all I could imagine was like you guys did like, what's it called? Like when you dance around in the woods like fairies and stuff, like cosplay or whatever. I don't know.
You're thinking of LARPing.
Yes. I was like, tell me that this family of 22 goes out in the woods and has a family LARPing weekend.
No, just like you would at a Bills game. You're dressed head to toe, throw on the shoes, the socks, the underwear, the shorts or pants, whatever, the whole 9 yards.
I wish it was LARPing. That'd have been a lot more fun.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I am a nerd, but not that much. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. Okay, yeah, we'll save that one. Monday, our season predictions, whatever you want to call them. Division winners, playoffs, Super Bowls, we'll do the whole thing. Join us, be part of the conversation. Be sure to come with your own predictions because we want to hear it. and talk about it as well. So till next Monday, we will see you all. Have a great week and enjoy the football. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Tell your friends. Thanks, Uncle Joe.